Hey, what's going on, team? Welcome back. This is week 2 of our weekly video update that we're trying really hard to be consistent with this year. So thank you so much if you're watching this. Know that we love you. Really appreciate you guys getting these updates. And I'll try to be brief. So we had our meeting this morning. It's Thursday morning. We get together as a team and we finalize the service flow. So if you're on the schedule for this weekend, you can actually go out to Planning Center online, take a look at what we're doing. All the songs are in there. There's important notes about who's going to be communicating and when we're doing the offering and all that stuff. So no matter if you're doing audio, lighting, presentation, cameras, it doesn't matter. All this stuff applies to you, and it's really good to get familiar with what we're doing in the service flow. So that's all out there for you to see in all the venues: Fireside, St. Charles, Element Live. And so I just want to encourage you to get familiar, especially with all the songs. There's a newer song that we're going to be doing in Element Live this weekend. I know that for sure. So hey, I wanted to tell you too that one of the things I try to do with the video updates as well is recap the message. Many of us that serve on the weekend, sometimes it's hard for us to get the whole message, and it is available online right now. So if you go to elementchurch.com, you can go and click on messages and take a look at last weekend's message. It's there. Also, we have a podcast. But if you missed it, Pastor Eric was back, and it was amazing. It was so good to see him back on platform, teaching and doing what he does. The church was so gracious to him, and it was amazing reception for Pastor Eric and Christy. And Pastor Eric talked to us about difference makers. It was the last difference maker in the series. It was part 6. And so he talked about 3 different types of people. He talked about the sick, the stretcher bearers, and the spectators. And we can be any one of those 3 people. And obviously, as a church, we're trying to reach all people, including those people. We've all had moments in our life where we've been lame, we've been sick. Maybe it's something we're wrestling with in our heart. Maybe it's unforgiveness. Maybe it's a physical sickness. Maybe it's in our marriage. And so, when we're walking through that, it's important that we can be a difference maker even in that, and how we responded when we're sick, and also having grace for others that are sick as well. Some of us are stretcher bearers at times. Those are the people that are just the really good friends. Pastor Eric taught out of Mark chapter 2, and he talked about how when Jesus was teaching, they actually made a hole in Peter's roof so they could lower down somebody that was lame. And those are really good friends. Those are friends that you want by your side, and sometimes we have to be those people in each other's lives. And this is why community is so important, especially in what we do in production, because we're so behind the scenes. We really need the camaraderie to help us get through tough times in our lives. And this is also why I believe in small groups so much, because you've got to do life together. And so the third type of people is spectators. And this is important to recognize too, because we're always being observed by the rest of the world, especially as Christians. God wants to use us to be a light to the world. And so Pastor Eric talked about how our mess can actually be God's message. So none of us are perfect, and we go through times in our lives where we're sick, or we have to be stretcher bearers, or someone has to be a stretcher bearer for us. But it's how we respond to those things, and who ultimately we go back to and look to, which is Jesus. That's what the world's going to see. And so it was an amazing message. I want to just really encourage you to go back and watch or listen. And so, hey, in 2 weeks from this weekend is Memorial Day. So number one, if you've been in the military, if you're serving currently, or if you retired from the military, thank you so much for what you've done for us and for our country. If you're serving in a couple of weeks on Memorial Day weekend, it's a big weekend. We take it seriously. We really honor those who sacrifice so much for us. So thank you so much for serving, being part of what we're doing at Element Church for that weekend. There might be still a couple of unconfirms out there. So if you haven't had a chance to let us know if you can be here or not, please take a look at Planning Center. Let us know before this weekend so that we can make sure we've got everything accounted for to make services awesome. Hey, one last note before we go today. If you're a lighting operator, specifically in Element Live, you might notice that there's a couple of things that are a little bit different on the lighting console. We sent out some information a while back that we were going to be tweaking some things, and what we're really trying to do is give you, the lighting operators, a little bit more artistic discretion, a little bit more control of how things look for the weekend. So if you have any questions about that, please see me, Keith Camp, or our lighting team lead, Sean Hutto. And so, as you know, our lighting purpose is to illuminate the message for people. And I think that what the tweaks we're making with lighting and how we approach programming are actually going to be really, really good. So far, for the couple of operators that have done it, it's been good response, and it just really allows us to be a little bit bigger part of what we do at lighting on the weekend. So hey, love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all you do. Have a great week, and we'll see you this weekend.